Shocking prediction. Chris Eubanks' wild guess about Coco Gauff that missed the mark. The tennis world loves bold declarations. It loves the drama, the tension, the outrageous predictions that make social media explode. But sometimes, just sometimes, a prediction becomes bigger than the match, bigger than the game, bigger than the player was meant to praise. That happened the day Chris Eubanks made his now infamous prediction about Coco Gauff. What began as a passing comment on live television spiraled into one of the most talked about moments of the season. A moment that would haunt discussions, ignite fan wars, and cast a strange shadow over Gauff's next few tournaments. This is the story of that wild guess, why it missed the mark, and how it unexpectedly shaped the narrative around one of the brightest stars in tennis. The moment everything changed. The set was bright, the energy buzzing, and Chris Eubanks, always charismatic, always confident, leaned back in his chair during a panel discussion on Tennis Global. The topic: who will dominate the next quarter of the season? Analysts threw out names like Sabalenka, Swiatek, Rybakina, safe answers, grounded in statistics. Then Eubanks laughed, shook his head, and dropped a sentence that would become the headline of the week. Coco Gauff is going to run through the entire field. Mark my words, she won't lose a match for the next 2 months. Gasps, raised eyebrows. One commentator nearly spilled her coffee. It wasn't just confidence. It wasn't just hype. It was bold to the point of reckless, like predicting a hurricane would change direction simply because you believed it would. But it was also heartfelt. Eubanks admired Gauff's game, her mindset, her spirit. He saw something in her that numbers couldn't measure. Little did he know his prediction would soon take on a life of its own. 2. The internet reacts hard. Within minutes of the broadcast, the clip lit up every platform. Hashtag Eubanks prediction, hashtag Coco dominance, hashtag run through everyone. Twitter analysts debated probabilities. YouTube channels made 20-minute breakdowns. Instagram pages created flashy graphics of Gauff with flames behind her. Fans celebrated the statement. Critics called it reckless. Statisticians laughed. One comment went viral. "Chris, what are you sipping and where can I get some?" But the loudest reactions came from people who took it seriously. Too seriously. Suddenly, every journalist had a new angle. Could Coco Gauff live up to Eubanks' wild prediction? Coco herself? She stayed quiet. But she saw it. They all do. 3. Coco Gauff, caught in the crossfire. A prediction shouldn't matter. Words shouldn't sway the performance of a world-class athlete. But words can become weight. Words can cling to you like humid air. Before the season shift, Coco had been in a sweet rhythm. Serves firing, backhand stinging, movement electric. But once Eubanks' prediction went viral, she felt a shift, not in her body, but in the space around her. Practice sessions felt heavier. Her team suddenly monitored every detail. The media asked questions that made her teeth clench. Do you think you can go undefeated this quarter? Does Eubanks' prediction motivate you or intimidate you? Do you feel pressure to prove him right? Pressure, Coco knew. Expectations. She had lived with since she was 15. But this was different. This felt like being told to climb a mountain during an earthquake. 4. The first crack in the storyline. Her first match after prediction felt like stepping into a circus ring. The crowd buzzed louder. Commentators leaned forward. Everyone waited to see whether she'd begin her undefeated streak. At first, she handled it beautifully. Clean strokes, steady composure, tactical brilliance. She won, but not easily. The next match, something faltered. Her timing slipped. Her serve tossed too high. Her decision-making turned hesitant. She won again, but barely. Then came the match she was expected to dominate. A player ranked far below her. Someone she'd beaten soundly multiple times. This time, everything went wrong. Double faults at crucial points. Unforced errors dripping like leaking water. A tension in her shoulders that wouldn't release. She lost. Social media erupted. Some blamed the prediction. Some blamed her mindset. Some blamed Eubanks personally. Suddenly, the wild guess was no longer a fun moment. It became a narrative weapon, a measuring stick Coco hadn't asked for. Eubanks realized as a fallout. Chris Eubanks didn't intend to create chaos, but intention doesn't erase consequence. Watching Coco struggle, he felt a gnawing guilt, not because she lost. Losses happen, but because the media turned his compliment into a burden she had to carry. Analysts accused him of placing unnecessary pressure. Commentators mocked how poorly his prediction aged. Fans spammed him with messages like, "Bro, never speak predictions again. You jinx her. Thanks for ruining her confidence." Eubanks felt something he rarely experienced: regret. For days, he avoided interviews, hoping the storm would pass. But storms don't pass when you're at the center of them. 6. Coco breaks the silence. After another tough loss in the following tournament, Coco finally addressed the situation in a press conference. She sat at the table, eyes calm but tired. "I appreciate Chris. He believes in me, but I think the prediction got blown out of proportion. No one should expect perfection. Not from me, not from anyone." Her honesty echoed through the room. Her voice didn't shake. It didn't crack. But inside, she felt the exhaustion of carrying expectations she never invited. 9. The truth about the prediction. So why did Chris Eubanks' prediction miss the mark? Because tennis isn't a script. Because athletes aren't machines. Because greatness doesn't operate on schedules. The prediction wasn't wrong in spirit. It was just wrong in timing. Coco Gauff is good enough to go on unstoppable runs. She is good enough to dominate seasons. She is good enough to be the player Eubanks spoke so passionately about. But expecting perfection from a human being is the quickest way to break them. The real story wasn't about the prediction missing the mark. It was about how Coco responded when the world tried to turn her into a prophecy rather than a person. X, the final twist, Eubanks wasn't entirely wrong. Months later, when Coco started to regain momentum, fans looked back at Eubanks' words with new eyes. What if he wasn't wrong? What if he was just early? Gauff's growth didn't follow the linear path he predicted. Instead, it followed the winding, messy, beautiful journey of a young champion learning to carry not just her game, but her identity into the spotlight. One fan wrote, "Eubanks didn't predict the season. He predicted the future." And maybe, just maybe, that's true. 11. The lesson behind the misprediction. What truly matters in this story isn't whether Eubanks was right or wrong. It's that Coco Gauff faced a wave of expectation she didn't choose and still rose above it. It's that Chris Eubanks learned the power of his voice. It's that predictions are just noise and champions are built in silence. And ultimately, Coco Gauff proved something far more important than dominating a season. She proved she can withstand pressure. She can adapt. She can evolve. She can carry the weight of a world that sometimes asks too much of her and still find her own path. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Till next time.